Good morning, Bill. Good morning. Good morning, Derek. There the two are. Two, you guys might as well be geysers at Yellowstone Park. Old Faithful. You guys are the Old Faithful geysers. Good morning, Anthony and Derek and nerds. There's my nerdy. Nerdy the Nerdy Nerderton. Good morning, nerds. Must love. Good morning. Good morning. There's some good stuff to go over today. We should have a good day. Sun is really bright in Michigan today. It's not warm, but it's bright. Very, very bright morning. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Jesus Christ in Australia. Laura, you just made my morning divine by being here. By me being here. What am I talking about? Sammy P. and Lynette. That Grand Rising business, I like it. That's as good as saying good morning. Faux show. Jessie Girl, are you kidding me? I'm so glad Jessie Girl's here. I haven't seen Jessie Girl in a minute. Good morning, Mark Z. You know I'm just converting it Dawn to Mark nowadays. I just assume it's Mark. Is that a safe assumption, Marky Z? When I see Dawn, I think Mark now. I think you have me, what do they call it, conditioned. Good morning, everybody. Kitty Catzilla, meow, meow. There we go. Oh, Jessie Girl, I'm sorry to hear about that. I've had that situation twice. Once I was on a road trip with my mom, and we had to stop and put me in the hospital for 2 days. It was terrible. Yeah, I had been suffering through it, and it was like I can't take it anymore. I had to park her in a motel and then go to the hospital. It was where were we? We were in somewhere in Washington. Yeah, it's tough. That's a ugh. Yeah, I don't wish it on anybody, Jesse. I'm with you. Good morning, Exception. Good morning, good friend Hagee. Good morning. 30 people, 19 likes. There's Goody. 30 people, 19 likes. Jesus Christ, I was way past doing that business at that point. Before we go on with the consultation, can you wipe your nose, sir? Sir, there's a bunch of white stuff around your nostrils, caked around your nostrils. Why, doctor? You're so observant. Good morning. Oh, there's Mello's people. We're Mello's people. Powdered donut, Lynette. Oh gosh, I cracked myself up. Those are a trigger. Oh, Pops, you've been there and done it all. Oh, thank you, Mello. Pops has been there and really I was sniffing a donut, Doc, honest. Eyes all dilated and everything. Yeah, I'm a drywaller, Doc. I do drywall. Oh, you guys have all the excuses. I've done it all, but you guys have all the excuses. Good morning. Is Nippy here? Did I see a Nippy? Someone say hello to Nippy. What? Nippy's here this morning? I don't see her. Nippy, where are you? Nippy, where are you? I don't see you. Maybe they're saying hi to you because they know you're lurking. I don't know. Nippy, are you lurking? Okay. All messages. I'm on all messages. She's here. What's going on? How come I don't see? Yeah, I see it. Wait. Yeah. There it is. There it is. How was I on that? I'd already switched. There it is. I see you, Nippy. I had to, like they said, I had to hit the all messages. Okay? Okay. Oh, good morning, everybody. Real quick, let's do a couple of rando factos just for the heck of it. And then we're going to get updated on what's going on in psilocybin legalization circles. Our Milky Way, just the Milky Way alone. Just the Milky Way is home to 300 billion stars. 300 billion just in the Milky Way. It's beyond mind-boggling. Beyond. No, HB, I haven't. No, I haven't. But then I didn't receive any mail yesterday. For some reason, the mailman... I'm not sure what happened. I was actually going to look into it today. But I have some stuff to mail out, so I'll let you know today. Thank you. There's Greenie. Technically, a diamond will not last forever. Technically. A diamond doesn't last forever. Given enough time, a diamond will decay into graphite. It now becomes a fishing pole. Now, a diamond turns into a fishing pole. So guys, when you're buying a diamond for your girl, know that eventually you're going to be providing a fishing pole to some guy in the future. Okay? In World War II, Lynette, you gotta tell him, honey, you're providing here, just put it on here, but honey, you're providing a fishing pole for somebody in the future. Okay. That's probably true, Kim. I think we're on our way out already. I think we've got about 22 years left. During World War II, a Soviet Air Force lieutenant intentionally, okay, this guy's a whack job, intentionally did not open his parachute. Who would do that? Who would do that? I'm gonna go for it, guys, but I'm intentionally not opening my parachute. I'm a test dummy, a crash dummy. He survived a fall from the plane of approximately 7,000 meters. 7,000 meters. Now it says he survived, but they don't tell me how many bones he broke, how smashed he looked. They didn't tell me where he landed either. Who would do that? Took somebody all the way back to World War II to think of that one. He was out. I'm just out of the plane. You know, every once in a while, you have to, given the context of who you're talking to, you have to hit that emoji that looks like a little pile of poop. You know what I'm talking about. Give me 5 people that'll put up a pile of poop right now. X was, yeah, Jesus' ex was flying the plane. That's funny. Your ex was flying the plane. Give me a pile of poop emoji. Derek Anderson, that's good. Come on, give me a couple more pile of poop emojis. Okay, Kim, good job. Hags, good job. So if we were in Japan, and you were sending me the pile of poop emoji, Joe got carried away. Joe's got diarrhea. Vegas forgot to wipe. Vegas, what's going on over there? Kale pectate. Vegas. In Japan, the pile of poop emoji means good luck. So you guys all wished me good luck. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay? You guys just wished me good luck. Yeah? Brian, you be quiet. Derek, that's a good thought. That could be it. Maybe it's because they know they could use it in the rice patties. I see. We just learned some Japanese emoji, Hags. That means good luck in Japan. You want to be a hero? You want to be a hero? Be this guy. Mulmar Magallanes. In 2009, in the Philippine floods, a teenager named Mulmar Magallanes saved 30 lives. 30 lives, this kid. After leaping into the rushing waters to save his family from danger, he repeatedly jumped back in to save others, including a trapped mother and baby, until he was too tired to fight the currents, and Mulmar was swept away. Traded his life for 30 lives. It's a good trade. It's a good trade when you're saving your family and a rando mother and baby and more. I'm sorry, Mulmar got swept away. But wow. 30 people. You know anybody ever seen the bank HSBC? HSBC? I see it like on a bank randomly, not a lot of them, but you'll see them here or there. HSBC, Banking Corporation. You've seen it, Derek? It's the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. H for Hong Kong, S for Shanghai, Banking Corporation, HSBC. It was initially founded for the purpose of financing the opium trade. What? Yeah, well, we didn't start out as bankers. We started out as opium traders, and then we had so much money we started our own bank. What? Wow, I missed that. Back in the day, I didn't know I could start my own bank. Can you imagine that? We have so much money that we can start now loaning it to the government. What? Uh, that is a lot of opium. One more, and then I'm going to read our article. Okay? Neil Armstrong and Apollo 11 astronauts. Wait for it. You think ICE is a problem now? If you think ICE and the Border Patrol is a problem today, wait for it. ICE and Border Patrol. Well, ICE is a new version, an offshoot, an SS Nazi group of Border Patrol. Pops, you don't be political. Neil Armstrong and Apollo 11 astronauts had to go through U.S. Customs and Border Protection after returning from the moon. After returning from the moon. Wait a minute. You gotta pass through the turnstiles and show them your passport. What? No. What? No, they didn't make them do that. Okay? What? They forgot. What if they forgot their passport? They have to stay in the capsule. Sorry, we can't get you out of the capsule yet, sir. Okay. What kind of a passport would you need to go to the moon? What are they checking? What kind of paperwork are they looking for? They know darn good and well who they put on that capsule. Really? You have to go through, deported them back to the moon. To the moon you go. What is that? You know the modern billiard ball? A little white fella? I like playing pool. Pretty good pool player. My mom was, I've told you guys before, my mom was the shark of sharks. My mom. She won the LA Women's Open Invitational one year when I was a kid. She'd go into the bars with my dad. And my dad would act like he didn't know her. And my mom was a better player than my dad. My dad would go sit at the bar, have a beer, and be sitting next to a guy. And my mom would be racking it up, or she'd, go start a game against a guy. And my dad would just casually, I'll bet on the girl. I'll bet on the woman. No way. That lady, she's not going to beat Sharky. No, Sharky plays here every night. My mom would maybe lose one or two games. My dad would up the bet. And then my mom would run the table. Boop. Now, she was smart enough. She was such a hustler. She knew how to even play where you didn't know you were getting beat until the last 3 balls go down or something. And literally, this is a true story, my parents would finance their night out by being pool hustlers. My parents were the straightest arrows in the whole world, except when it got around to pool. Okay? Yeah, it was hilarious. My first dog came from a pool hall. They brought home a little puppy. I was a little guy. They brought home a little puppy. They said somebody at the pool hall, at Annie's pool hall, was giving this away. We thought of you because I was the big, of all of the kids, I was the animal person. They said, what do you want to name it? And I said, 8-Ball. My first dog, he lasted until I went into the Marine Corps, came from a bar, and he was named 8-Ball. I loved 8-Ball. But yeah, my parents, the pool hustlers. It was pretty innocent. My mom didn't drink. My mom never drank a thimbleful of liquor in her whole life, ever. And my dad could pound a 60 and act like it was nothing. My dad was like impervious. Back then, I remember he was a Coors guy. He loved Coors. Do they still do Coors? Do they still make Coors? I'm sure they do. Why don't you ever see a Coors commercial anymore? Why don't we ever see a Coors commercial? You see Budweiser, you see other ones. What's up with it? Is Coors the silver bullet? Huh. It's Colorado mountain water. Golden, Colorado. They're still around? Okay. Cold as the Rocky Mountains. Now you guys are going back in the advertising. Back to the billiard ball. There was a $10,000 prize to invent the modern billiard ball. What's that all about? What's the difference between an antique modern billiard ball and a modern billiard ball? This one deserves some research. It's on the Wikipedia. Billiard ball. Wikipedia. I have to go and look that up afterwards. What's going on with that? How do we have a modern billiard ball? What's going on? We're not playing with the same balls? We're not playing, Jesus Christ, we're not playing with the same balls. New billiard balls are remote control. You just sit there at the bar with your thing and the balls move around. I don't get it. I'm gonna have to look that up. What's going on with the modern billiard ball? I'm gonna have to look that one up. 10,000. If it's modern, 10,000 doesn't sound like a big enough prize. I don't know. We'll look that up. Australia. Jesus Christ knew this. Jesus Christ knew this. You guys ready for this one? Jesus knew. Australia is moving 7 centimeters north every year. It's heading north. It's heading towards the equator. 7 centimeters north every year. It's the fastest moving continental landmass in the world. Well, that makes sense. It's all by itself. But he's flying at us, you guys. In about 800 million years, he's going to be right next to Los Angeles. Yeah, they're trying to get away from New Zealand. That's funny. Isn't New Zealand coming with you guys? Isn't New Zealand coming with you? What about Tasmania? Tasmania, that little island right down below you guys. Isn't Tasmania like a partner? Are you guys leaving? No, he's like, hell no. You guys are leaving Tasmania behind. It's running away from all their neighbors. That's funny stuff. Okay. Where's this article? We need to get current. And what the heck's going on with our news? Oh, that's funny. Heck no! We're leaving those guys behind. We don't want to have anything to do with them. Okay, wait a second. What's going on here? There we go. So what's going on currently with the administration and legalization of psilocybin or psychedelics? What's going on? We keep track of this kind of stuff and we talk about it here at least 2 or 3 times a month. Try to keep everybody involved. Okay? 9 months into Trump's second term, psychedelic reform hangs in the balance. This is an article from MAPS. As you know, MAPS is the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. MAPS is really a central point for getting information about what's going on in the psychedelic world. MAPS. Great outfit. There were high hopes for psychedelic policy reform when Donald Trump returned to the White House as president in January. 9 months into his second term, with a host of advocates in senior government positions for the first time in history, it appears that the stage could be set. But with the administration taking what has been condemned as an anti-science bent on health policy, while pursuing deadly war on drug tactics in other fields, what happens next is anyone's guess. Just before the election in November 2024, the soon-to-be Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. declared that the Food and Drug Administration's war on public health was about to end, and indicated that psychedelic reform was his top priority after blaming the FDA for its aggressive suppression of psychedelics. Kennedy later told Congress on June 24th that clinical psychedelic therapy for veterans would offer a tremendous advantage, and that the administration was working very hard to make sure that happens within 12 months. He later added, some therapies can't wait. Nor, it seems, can the increased use of the illegal war on drugs tactics, like the extrajudicial use of force to kill people suspected of trafficking drugs in international waters, with fresh strikes on boats in late October, bringing the death toll from the bombing campaign to 57. Kennedy's Health and Human Services Department has been roundly criticized over anti-science reforms to vaccine policies, widespread cuts and layoffs at the Center for Disease Prevention and Control, and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and huge funding squeezes of up to $2 billion to the National Institute of Health's research grant funding pool. There are also concerns among psychedelic reform advocates that there could be risk of betting on a horse that to some seem to be undermining the evidence-based scientific framework for decision-making that Resilient Pharmaceuticals, formerly known as Lykos, and others are trying to appeal to. This is the business end. Lykos used to be Lykos. They merged with another company and they became Resilient Pharmaceuticals. They're up there will encompass pathways on the leading edge of therapy research. But if the FDA chief, Marty McCary, is describing the evaluation of MDMA and psychedelics as a top priority and is announcing initiatives like the new National Priority Voucher System, which could help accelerate approval, it's difficult to not take notice. Under the new system, McCary, is this interesting to you guys? I'm just catching you up a little bit on the politics end of things. Is this interesting? I felt a couple of people in the audience yawn. I saw a couple of yawns. Okay, I saw them. We should be getting our updates, but we have some good news coming. Okay? Okay, here we go. The National Priority Voucher System, which could help accelerate approval. It's difficult not to take notice. Under the new system, McCary is significantly cutting review times for chosen drug candidates and potentially waiving the requirement for placebo-controlled trials. McCary is said to have told Kennedy regarding psychedelic reform, "We don't want to wait 2 years to get this done." That's a good one. One can only presume, therefore, that Resilient Pharmaceuticals and its new shareholders hope they will be able to negotiate with the current administration to resubmit the data without the vast expense, which is in the tens of millions of dollars. The vast expense of a fresh trial. Politico reported that Kennedy's support for psychedelics revived hope among psychedelic advocates that the FDA decision was more a hiccup than a death knell. On 16 October, the FDA greenlit the voucher system, which is the domestic manufacturing of ketamine, which is increasingly used as psychedelic treatment off-label and is usually imported from India or China by the pharmaceutical manufacturer Plow. It's spelled P-H-L-O-W. Plow. What we find is this company, Plow, it's the middleman between the raw ingredients that they're getting from China and India, and they're the broker. They get these ingredients, this company, P-H-L-O-W, Plow, and they market it to the research companies like Compass and Resilient and a couple of the others. So they're like coordinating the raw materials. Plow will become the first US-based supplier and aim to help meet the rising demand. McCary said more voucher awardees could be announced in the next couple of weeks. He added, "We've got to try new things. We have to innovate. We have to be creative, and we have to do things differently." What's going on with Daniel? Okay. What was it that you got the bad news, Daniel? Well, all I saw was bad news, but whatever it is, I'm sorry to hear. Sincerely. Pharmather, a ketamine and psychedelics company, welcomed the news. Cancer, okay. Sorry to hear that news, Daniel, sincerely. Now you just threw a wrench into the whole deal here. Okay. So again, definitely be thinking of you and sending healing thoughts for that situation. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we'll get back to the article. We've got to try new things. Hey, Jazz, your comment was just deleted because we don't talk about racist issues, and we also don't talk about politics here. That's all. Anything else, boy, please stick around and hang out with us, and we'll do stuff together. But opening up with "do you white guys" is off-putting. It would be like me saying, "Would you know, we just don't talk like that to each other. We don't judge by race here whatsoever, or we don't talk about politics. One side, the other side, inside, outside. We don't do any of that." So that was the reason your comment was deleted. But please don't take it personal. You wouldn't have known. So I'm just making an explanation, hoping to give you an explanation there. Okay? But stick around. We talk about psychedelics. We talk about personal and spiritual growth. We do laughter and other things. A couple of times a week we give away things. So you're incredibly welcome here. Okay? But sort of tailor your conversation to the room. That's right. We laugh, we love, and we learn. So we've got to try new things. We have to innovate. We have to be creative. We have to do things differently. Pharmather, a ketamine and psychedelics company, welcomed the news, saying that the FDA's decision points to sustained momentum for ketamine and strengthens the rationale for pharmaceutical partners to engage in the development and commercialization of novel ketamine products for new indications. But despite the growing excitement around psychedelic therapies, none have... Mark. Thanks for translating it for me, Mark. But despite the growing excitement around psychedelic therapies, none have received FDA accelerated approval, says Melissa Ladasani, CEO of Psychedelic Medicine Coalition, an advocacy group. Everyone's laughing at your thing there, Mark. That was good. But ultimately, if you zoom out a bit, we haven't made much progress. There hasn't been any kind of symbolic executive order. There hasn't been any major movement in Congress. But the noises have been positive. Veterans Affairs Secretary Doug Collins told a televised cabinet meeting in April, I showed this to you guys live. Not live, but I taped it and showed it to you. In April, after Trump asked for his plans on reducing veteran suicide rate, he said, "We're working with Secretary Kennedy on the possibility of psychedelic treatment." Collins also visited a psychedelic research center in June in New York, which is run by psychedelic researcher Dr. Rachel Yehuda, and where there is an active MDMA study taking place. There's a little bit more here, but this is chock full of good new information. Surgeon General Casey Means in October last year suggested her personal use of psilocybin mushrooms helped her find a romantic partner and make space to find love. That sounds like Kim. That sounds like Kim to me. Kim! You gotta hang out with Casey Means. In a post on her White House health policy wish list, Means said that researchers have little incentive to study generic, natural, and non-patentable drugs and therapies, and that a portion of research budgets should be devoted to alternative approaches to health. Her brother, Callie Means, a health activist and entrepreneur, served as a key advisor to Kennedy during the first months of his tenure, and has told of a mind-blowing, life-changing experience with psychedelics. Further behind the scenes, Kennedy's HHS, Health and Human Resources Secretary, has hired as Deputy General Counsel Matt Zorn, an ardently pro-reform lawyer who previously sued the DEA, whom a psychedelic business outlet coined the administration's psychedelic czar. Meanwhile, the former chief medical officer of psychedelics research organization, the USONA Institute, Mike Davis, was hired as a deputy director of the FDA's Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. So the deputy director of the FDA's Drug Evaluation and Research used to be the former medical director of the Psychedelic Research Organization. So we're putting a lot of pieces into place. A lot of the heads, the correct people are getting placed. But despite the hiring of pro-psychedelic figures, Lavasani says, there is a brewing conflict between Kennedy's Make America Healthy Again movement, which has been described as an unexpected coalition of nutritionists, mushroom shamans, and moms. So that's how you want to subvert an argument. Just do an ad hominem attack. Just put a label on them that is a nice negative label. So we're just going to call them, oh yeah, that's a nice group of nutritionists, mushroom shamans, and moms. And the more conservative part of the Make America Great Again campaign are not very pro-psychedelic. And they are much more behind the scenes in the White House. So the MAGA group versus the MAHA group, Make America Healthy Again versus the MAGAs again. Okay? And they're saying the MAGAs have a lot more background influence in the White House itself than the MAHA group. Okay? MAHA, the MAGAs. I think a lot of people have been riding the high of having these appointments, being on record, supporting psychedelic reform, but there's still some barriers to overcome. For some key anti-drug MAGA figures, the idea of psychedelic reform, even solely within the medicinal framework, is a bridge too far, says Lavasani. for them. They're like, yeah, we like it, but yeah, we're not signing off on that. She believes that targeted lobbying and public education campaigns will be key to any success for reform advocates. There are still hopes that the FDA could potentially allow Resilient Pharmaceuticals to resubmit its application without new data from a fresh phase 3 trial. Where Lykos was kicked out, now that they've become and said, no, we're not going to take that trial, we want a phase 3 now, before we're going to even consider it for changing the schedule. They told Lykos that. Lykos said it's going to cost us tens of millions of dollars to run a phase 3 trial. So they sold out to Resilient Pharmaceuticals. They didn't really sell out, but they combined with another outfit, brought in some funding, changed their name, and had a different group of head big shots at their company that were lobbying Washington. And at this point right now, they went to Washington and said, now that we're a new company and we're more, we have more white collars and we have more standing in your community in Washington, would you reconsider and let us shoot back in our phase 2 trial without any new data and give it another shot, review it again? That's where they're sitting. There's a lot of politics involved in it. A lot. Sometimes it depends on who's asking you for the favor and how much lobbying money is behind it. Conversations will be underway behind closed doors after the company was not drawn to announce a new trial despite an influx in funding from billionaires. Anthony Gracias, who's a close ally of Elon Musk, and Chris Holm, a British hedge fund manager and philanthropist who has been the single largest donor of UK climate protest group Extinction Rebellion. So they have a couple of big billionaires behind them now. One of them is a pal of Elon Musk's. Read between the lines on this. That's what I'm asking you to do. Now we've got these big, heavy shooters, and they're brought in by Resilient Pharmaceuticals. Now, you can imagine that these, at the end of the day, they're not just donations. Okay? You can imagine at the end of the day, this is more venture capitalism. I can imagine that they're putting the power of the billions or their millions or their philanthropy, and there will be, yeah, Kim, laws are bought sometimes, and there will be, at the end of the day, a harvest for them. So, there's a few more things that go on. I don't want to keep killing you with all this information. But what's the bottom line, Pops? The bottom line is that people are in place to really help move forward the psychedelic use in therapies and modalities. They're in place, but they're also being counterbalanced by other people that are in place that aren't ready to do it. So now we have, a lot of money's coming up behind this. So once we see it starting moving like this, we can, if we could take this money out, we would have a long time ago, Santa, but we can't. What we want to do is just see it changed. Whatever they do up there, big shotting the money away, we don't care. Just change the schedule. Stop making it a Schedule 1 drug. Okay? And let us have access to it. And then at the ground roots level, we'll keep doing what we do. And it's treat each other with goodness and kindness. Okay? If you want to know what's going on in the UK, I can give you a thumbnail on that in the next couple of days. I've been watching the UK. I've been watching Canada. I've been watching Germany, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic. Switzerland and the Czech Republic were the first two in Europe to allow medically supervised psychedelic treatment with psilocybin. Germany has just allowed it. Germany's just, and now you talk about a conservative country. Germany has just said, okay, we're going to allow our physicians, there's a certain model that they have to follow, but we're going to allow our physicians and our psychiatrists to use psilocybin in therapies at a prescription level. They haven't legalized stuff yet for the general population, but they're on their way. Australia too. Australia's coming. Australia's actually has more physicians and psychiatrists. This is a fact. Australia has more physicians and psychiatrists that are prescribing psilocybin for therapeutic uses than any other country in the world right now. So the Aussies are all over it. Good day, mate. So, a little boring, a little dry information. But it's. I think we need to stay on top of that information. We have to stay on top of it. And we do. You guys got a watchdog over here, and I'll feed you some information as I see it. Okay? There's really good news, but it's just taken longer than we thought. And most of us, like me, we worked on our patients. We practiced patience. We learned patience through growing mushrooms. So we can be patient with the FDA and DEA as we watch them make their moves. And bring in the billionaires. Let them buy the new laws for us. Okay? Buy the new laws for us. That's fine. I'm not going to be, don't spend money. At this point, I'm like, can we get a couple more billionaires in there, please? And then after that, then I'll complain about Big Pharma. But I want to see the laws changed first. And they're going to be the guys that can make that happen. Yesterday, we talked about joy. Today, yeah, I love supportive billionaires, Kim. Absolutely. Bring on the billionaires. And, I mean, after all, how did they get their billions in the first place? They sure didn't get it by making sure that janitors' kids went to college for free. Man, if I was a billionaire, I'm not kidding, I would make sure every one of my employees' kids had college scholarships. Just part of the deal. Anyone that works for me, kids get college scholarships added into whatever their salaries are. Your kids are going to college for free if they want to go. Or a trade school. Whatever they want. You don't even have to worry about that. Take that out of the equation as long as you work here. We got you covered. Your family is important to us. Give me 5 people that would work for that billionaire. I mean, how much would it actually cost the guy? He could get group discounts and everything. Okay? He could get group discounts. I mean, how much would it cost the guy? And it's a tax write-off and everything else. How could that not work? Anybody that works for me. Happiness. Yeah, just buy the school. Kim, that's a good one. That's a good one. Just buy the school. I don't know, Brian, do they still do Groupon? Do they still? Miss Rose made me do Groupons half the time. I was like, why do we always have to do Groupons? We did everything on a Groupon. I don't know if they have Groupon anymore. She's the bargain hunter of the world. Everything. Can't we just do something by ourselves? No, I'm gonna find a Groupon that does it. Nurse has a good dream, right, Sam? Oh, I agree with what Nippy says. It's time to stop supporting billionaires. It's time for them to support us. It's time for them to support us. Yeah, Joes, just buy the college, pay the teachers' salaries, and give full rides to low-income but high-intelligent people. They got to pass a basic entrance exam. They got to be able to do math. Big deal. We're going to teach them stuff here. Happiness. Let me go through this. It's not very long. I'm still thinking about the college. Well, what would we got to name the college? Pop University? No. Yeah, People of the People University. People of the People University. But we all know what it really means. Okay? Pop you. Okay? We actually give Elf University. Kirby College. University for the People. Pop Tech. No, that's the, Jimmy, that's the trade school. We can teach them how to grow shrooms. Pop Tech. Go to Pop Tech. Yeah, I like that. Okay? I like that a lot. What do you guys teach there? We teach fungi farming. You can get a certificate in fungi farming. Happiness. Okay? Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart book. Let me tell you what does not make me happy. The fact that there's really no consensus in the research when it comes to defining happiness. I think this is the case for a couple reasons. So there's no consensus in the research of what actually defines happiness. I think this is because of a couple reasons. First, I'm reading you guys' comments. I love your comments. You guys are distracting me. First, even the most prominent happiness research describe happiness as an ambiguous word that has been used historically as an overarching term to describe an entire realm of positive emotions. Second, the vast majority of research we have examined, happiness is as a trait, as a part of who we are, not a state, something we experience. So is happiness a trait, or is it a state? In fact, in our keyword literature searches, out of approximately 15,000 articles on happiness, we found only 12 articles that describe their focus as a state of happiness. That comes to 0.08% of the studies. Obviously, an incredibly vast majority of the studies consider happiness more a trait than a state. Looking at happiness as a trait, researchers found that the people's usual level of happiness is fairly stable and highly based, wait for it, on hereditary factors. And that for most people, the level could be described as being on the happy side of neutral. Most people can be described as being on the happy side of neutral. I don't know how this dovetails in with depression and how huge the population of depression, determined depression people is. The first thing I thought of when I read that the first time was, if it's hereditary, like my happiness is hereditary, I'm thinking how much of it isn't what I was born with, but what I'm raised in. How much of it is more nurture than nature? Like if you're growing up in a happy home, a happy household, it's pretty determinant upon what the nature of your home is like as to sort of what's going to build your personality and character. Then you have a happiness gene. It didn't say it's genetic, but it does say hereditary factors. Things that make me go, Looking at the data we've collected, I would define the state of happiness as feeling pleasure often related to the immediate environment or current circumstances. So it's a pretty current experience that when you have happiness. It's not an overriding thing like depression. We need happy moments and happiness in our lives. However, I'm growing more convinced that the pursuit of happiness may get in the way of deeper, more meaningful experiences like joy and gratitude. This author is putting happiness at a lower level, the pursuit of happiness. If you're pursuing happiness, maybe you're not grateful. Maybe you should be pursuing gratitude first. Maybe you should be counting your gratitude, which we talked about yesterday, leads to joy, than worrying about happiness. I know from the research and my experiences that when it comes to parenting, what makes children happy in the moment is not what always leads them to developing deeper joy, grounded confidence, and meaningful connection. And that's about all she says about happiness, because it's a tough bird to describe, to even research. It's incredibly subjective. But I know a parent. I just want my kids to be happy. The kid is the biggest brat I've ever seen. Just a brat. Completely capable of doing things themselves, but they won't. Mom, get me. And the mom, okay. The kid has the parent wrapped around their finger, and the parent's intention is good. I just want my kid to be happy. I want him to have a happy childhood. I didn't have a happy childhood. I want my kid to have... Okay, that's unreasonable. But you've so overcompensated. You've really morphed your child into something that... I see the kid once a week for an hour, and I'm like, that's enough. I don't want any more of that. I couldn't. No. Every time, I mean, and everything has to be new. I won't take it unless it's new. Nothing can be used. Nothing. And you know what? It just strains the family's finances because I want my kid to be happy. You're not doing anything to build their character. You're not even exhibiting character yourself. You're just a weak noodle because you had a bad childhood. That's not the way to compensate for it. But that's just a random observation. Parenting, it's a fine line between making your kids, wanting them to be happy and giving them happiness experiences, and grounding them and growing them in ethics and honesty, good decision making. Calico Kid, I agree. At the end of the day, isn't building character going to build happiness? Anyways, I don't have a lot of room to talk about parenting other than my observations anymore. You know, that's about all I could do. I just get to make a few rando observations. So I think at the end of the day, for me, this message is going to say, I'm not going to pursue happiness. It's going to come. I get happy moments all the time. I do. I'm blessed. I get happy moments all the time, but I'm not out there pursuing them. I'm more pursuing gratitude. I mean that. I look at my gratitude list, and I don't actually have a list. I haven't been disciplined enough to sit down and write one. It would be a wonderful thing to do. Journal my gratitude. It would be a wonderful thing to do. I don't do that. I should. But I pursue gratitude. I look for things in my life to be grateful for. And I go out and I do things that I know will make me feel grateful. I mean that. I go out and I do things. I get out of my own house and out into the world and I interact with people. New people. New faces, new situations. I do it pretty regularly now. And it makes me so grateful. And it makes it easier for a guy like me to do. Because believe it or not, I was a born introvert. You don't see it because I don't practice introversion. I want to be out there, so I have to practice it. And I do. And it makes me grateful. I'm grateful for the changes in my life. I'm grateful for you guys, sincerely. I get a headache and I get 100 messages hoping that I feel better. How much gratitude is each one of those messages? You're grateful for one message. I get a headache and I have 100 people pouring love on me. Pure gratitude. Can walk around. I'm grateful for the headache at the end of the day because it made my friends reach out to me. Gratitude to joy, and happiness will come. How's that sound to you guys? We work on our gratitude. We will be experiencing joy, and happiness comes. Have a great day. 4 things. Be impeccable with your word and your actions. Secondly, don't take things personal. Especially right now. If you reached out to somebody and you said, hey, can you help me? They might be in almost just as bad a situation as you and you don't know it. If they can't help you, don't take it personal. If they can help you, don't take it personal. It's not because you're a great person and you're the only person. It's because they're doing it to grow their own gratitude. They're doing it for their reasons. Remember that. It's hard to remember that. When somebody reaches out and says something wonderful to you, they're the one growing. When you guys say wonderful things to each other here, and we all get puffed up, yeah, look how I'm kind of popular here. Look at that, man, they're real. Don't mind it, but it's not about you. You're watching people grow. That's hard. That's a hard one. It's easier to not take things negative, but the positive ones want to puff us up. And let's remember, what it really should do is just create gratitude. Grateful that you're watching people grow. Grateful that you don't think that that person would have done that last month in a different situation. And because they did it today, they're more capable of doing it tomorrow. God, that makes me grateful. That's getting holy thinking. When we can start reframing our thinking like that, that's holy thinking. When we don't make it about us. And we see how good it is for that person. Man, that makes me grateful. Give me 5 people that get that. Don't take things personal. Boy, we could go on on that. It's one of the most beautiful agreements we could ever make. Because it says don't take anything personal. It didn't say don't take negative things personal. Don't make assumptions. Make is the key word in there. Literally sit down and craft one. I'm going to craft an assumption right, an expectation. And then when it doesn't happen, that guy is a son of a gun. Who crafted it? Who is the crafter? Who made it? You did. I did. And fourthly, do your best. We'll always do our best. You guys go have a wonderful day. I'm going to scroll you guys out of here. I stopped getting comments again here. They stopped coming through. But that's okay. I hope you guys appreciate today like I do. I hope you're as grateful for today as I am grateful for you. Sincerely. HB and Mr. Marmars and Anthony Hunt and HB and Calico Kitty, Attitude of Gratitude. Joe Dees and Derek Anderson. Jesus Christ in Australia. Mark Zamaron. HB. X100. That's 100 people. That's right. Sammy P. Michael Patterson, thank you. I'm grateful for you. Nurs and Mark and Cleany. It's snowing there already. Nippy, good morning. Cleany and Nippy and Kimberly and Santam and HB and Derek Anderson and Zozo LSD and Clean Grow and Herbie Von Worby Kebab and HB and Nippy and SSW. Haven't seen you in a minute. Grateful for you. Grateful for you to be here. Michael Patterson and Anthony Hunt, Brian C., Jesus Christ, Billy D., Joe D's, Cleans, Daniel, hope things go well for you, my friend. Calico Meow Kitty, grateful for his wood stove, Billy D., Geez, I get it. I love the smell of a burning wood. Catzilla on Marky, don't be a dick. That's right. Well, so what Pops is saying, Clean Girl, Donnie, Derek Anderson, SSW, Nurse. There's my girl. Corey T, thank you. Bill, Sam, Hurry Von Werbs, Sammy P, Billy D, Derek Anderson. The rest of the comments aren't coming through. Pops, peace, love, gratitude to joy, and happiness just comes along and it goes and it comes and it goes, but they're just experiences. The root is gratitude. Peace out.